A few days ago, I posted on social media that this talk, or what I like to call my offering, is called the P word. Here are some guesses on what the exact P word I was going to discuss that came up on my social media feeds. These were some guesses. Pause, practice, presence, peace, play, also prayer, power, powerful, paradise, pizza, potatoes, pancakes, pie, possibilities, and praise. All fantastic P words, fantastic P words. I will add no one was pessimistic about this. There were no pejorative suggestions, and no one was pissy in any way. So, we're off to a good start, yes? Yes, you may have already figured out from Darcy's opening song by Pink, the very loaded word that I am talking about today is the word perfect. Dun, 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 dun. Perfect. So much has been discussed and written and argued and discussed some more around this idea of perfection, perfectionism. The society that we live in circles around this idea, not only being, looking, seeming perfect, whatever the heck that means, but achieving perfection, whatever the heck that means. As such, we have grown up in this sort of collective dis-ease of perfectionism, especially here in the West, and the studies show that. This here is seen everywhere, from impossible beauty standards to feelings of unworthiness to cancel culture. The original meaning of the word perfect was meant to be a state of completeness or absolute wholeness. In the Christian Bible, the Greek term for perfection also means, oh, you are perfect, baby girl. Perfect. In the Christian Bible, the Greek term for perfection means maturity or spiritual maturity. Isn't that interesting? And in our teaching here in New Thought, you may have heard it said that you are whole, perfect, and complete, which at first can make some folks squirm. It made me squirm for a very long time when I first heard that I was whole, perfect, and complete. What do you mean I am perfect? No, I am not for this reason and that 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 reason. Anybody? Can you relate? Anybody? Okay, good. But when we say you are whole, perfect, and complete, we are capitalizing those three words. They are spiritual principles that come from the original meaning. So when it is said that you are whole, perfect, and complete, what we are doing there is we are claiming and proclaiming your divinity. The use of the word perfect is not meant in that context like having a good hair day. That is not what we're talking about. If Buddha, Muhammad, peace be upon him, or Jesus himself were here right now looking into your eyes, do you really think that he would say to you, my love, you are perfect, but you could use a haircut? What? We do that all the time. Our modern day definition of the word perfect has veered so sadly from the original meaning of wholeness and spiritual maturity. In fact, the current definition of perfect is to be flawless, like a flawless diamond. It actually says that, like a flawless diamond. This has been subtly and not so subtly impressed upon us as a result of social media and our growing individualistic culture. Psychologists Thomas Curran and Andrew Hill engaged in a long-term study examining perfectionism across generations. They worked with more than 40,000 Americans, British, and Canadian college students between the years 1989 and 2016. And in their groundbreaking study, they found that perfectionism has increased drastically over the last few decades by 33%. 33% perfectionism has increased since 1989. And many studies have identified a direct link between perfectionism and health issues like depression and anxiety. Think of the rise in depression and anxiety in the last several decades. When asked if there were any benefits to perfectionism at all, any, these experts answered with a definitive no. Zero, none. Yet, we as a culture, to varying degrees, have internalized this impossible idea. On varying levels, tell the truth that we are somehow supposed to be flawless. You know? That we are, or that our relationships are somehow supposed to be flawless, or that our house, or our family, or our job, or our fill in the blank is somehow supposed to be flawless. We are fed this nonsense from every direction of our society. We are handed the message that the picture of our life must look a certain way. One of my greatest teachers, I have 4 of them, but one of my greatest teachers about the idea of releasing the need to be perfect happened very early for me in my experience of motherhood. Over 2 decades ago, I became a mom for the very first time, and as so many well-meaning parents, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it perfectly. Just me? Okay. So our firstborn daughter, Flynn, when she was about 6, she came home from school and she was so excited. It was kind of the beginning of the year, sort of like it is now, first grade. She was so excited because she was beginning the experience of homework. Now, homework in the first grade is obscene to me, but that's another talk. At any rate, homework. She was so excited. And so they made it very simple. The teacher gave her like an 8x10 white piece of paper, and it had on it an image of a big flower that wasn't colored in, with a lot of petals, in a stem. And in each petal, it had B for blue, Y for yellow, R for red. Okay, so it was really about getting used to them doing an assignment and completing it and turning it in and all of those things. And so she was so excited. We read the instructions. It said to follow the letter and the crayons, B for blue, R for red, Y for yellow, whatever, and to fill in each petal inside the lines and the stem inside the lines. And she was very excited. We went and we got the crayons, and we got all the right colors. And she was sitting at the kitchen table, and I went in and I was chopping vegetables, getting dinner ready and all of that. And she's just humming along and singing and doing her assignment. And I'm doing my own thing. And then I finish and I come over to the table. And oh my word, Flynn did not color one thing inside one line. She drew her own flowers in all the white spaces with all her own chosen colors. She even went and got different colors from the crayon box. I am a brand new mom, and I'm looking at this, and I had this moment of, oh my God, my 6-year-old is doing it wrong. Thankfully, my angels were on high alert, because before I could say anything, she just said, "Look, Mom, look at my masterpiece." I was like dumbstruck. And then she said, "Look, I didn't color in one single line." I said, "No, you did not." And she said, I have no idea how she knew this. She was 6 years old. She said, "Mommy, I decided to be like Picasso. I didn't color in any of the lines." She jumped up and she just happily went off and played into the living room. Out of the mouths of babes. Out of the mouths of babes. She was totally satisfied. 100%. The things that make you the unique manifestation of the divine, the things that make you spirit in shoes, are precisely the parts of you that do not color inside the lines. The funny thing, though, is that, whatever is the most outside the lines about you is the most authentic. It's the most authentic thing about you when you are not trying to conform inside the lines into whatever ideal of perfectionism or being perfect it is. When you actually step outside, you are the most authentic. And the thing is, perfectionism and authenticity cannot coexist. Perfectionism and authenticity cannot coexist. Flynn's little 6-year-old self taught me more in that moment about authenticity and releasing perfectionism than years and years of self-reflection or therapy ever could. Our kids have a way of doing that. Our grandkids, our nieces, nephews, our pets even, with their unconditional love and acceptance. Our uniqueness, the things that we may refer to as our imperfections, are actually that which, when held up to the light, make us the most holy. You, my love, are perfect. You are perfect, capital P, perfect. Like Darcy just sang, pretty, pretty, please, don't you ever feel like you're less than perfect. But we do that. We do that. We do that to ourselves all the time. Pulitzer Prize-winning author Anna Quindlen wrote, "The thing that is really hard and really amazing is giving up on being perfect and beginning the work of becoming yourself." The thing that is really hard and really amazing is giving up on being perfect and beginning the work of becoming yourself. So, where in your own life are you coloring inside the lines because someone told you you should? Where in your life could you decide to color outside the lines, even if it's just a little bit? It doesn't have to be a big thing, or it could be. But where in your life does perfectionism show up? And when you let yourself even consider coloring outside those particular lines, can you feel that that is connected to your spirit? Can you feel that that is connected to your soul? And even if you are a person who happily colors outside the lines, I encourage you to take this even deeper. Where can you do it even more? Where can you color in all the white space on the page of your life? Think about that. Anne Lamott wrote, "Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life." Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor and the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and insane your whole life. What a brilliant definition. I have a question for you. How many of you are baseball fans? How many of you? How many of you are baseball fans at home? How many of you are baseball fans? Okay. So I just learned from a very dear friend of mine what a walk-up song is. Now, for those of you who do not know about the sports, I will tell you what I learned, because I am learning all about the sports. I want to learn more about the sports, baseball and all of the sports. I'm determined. So here's what I learned. A walk-up song is whenever a person from the home team is up to bat and walks up to the bat, they play 15 to 30 seconds of their walk-up song. And this walk-up song is designed to empower them. You know, it's usually like a really sort of empowering song. It's designed to rev them up and to rev up the crowd. You know, please, if I had to attempt hitting a small ball that's coming at me 95 miles an hour with a bat, I would need a walk-up song too. But so it's a really, really big deal to have a walk-up song, and people know the walk-up song and all of that good stuff. And really, you know, what this is their walk-up song from a spiritual perspective is designed to remind them of their divinity, to remind them that they are the best them that they can be in that moment. That built-in musical boost of confidence will energetically negate the potential fear of failure. Scientists have connected perfectionism to fear of failure. And so I want to give this to you as a tool. This idea of a walk-up song. I love it. I think we should all have one. Are you with me? We should all have our own walk, and we can change it at any time. We're not stuck for the season, like whenever we want to change it. And I think it's an opportunity when we are mired in perfectionistic details, when we know we have gone off track, when we know we are forgetting the truth of who we are, play your walk-up song. I have a walk-up song. Do you want to know what mine is? It's just for now, and I'll let you know when I change it because I'm sure I will. It's Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire. Oh, oh, oh. This girl is on fire. That just makes me happy. That just gets me off the couch. You know? Because here's the thing. You are of spirit. You are of God. You are of the divine. We are God's stuff. And you are the best you there is right now, in this moment. Not when this happens, or when this goes away, or when you achieve this, or when you accomplish that. You are the best you right now. Right now. Because, my friends, we truly are the place where God shows up, where love shows up, where spirit shows up for ourselves and for each other. And if we are mired in doing, fill in the blank perfectly, we will miss the opportunity to step up to bat. We'll miss it. We won't even pick up the bat, much less walk to the plate, much less try to hit the ball, if we're trying to do it perfectly. As Ernest Holmes said, God can only do for us what God can do through us. So it is imperative then that we not block that energy of love with our small thinking. What I want you to know today, what I want you to walk away with today is the spiritual truth that you, my love, are truly, truly, capital P, perfect, just as you are this day. And in this perfectionist society that we exist in, that I believe we are collectively healing, I invite you to take in that you, my love, are perfect even with all of your imperfections. You hear me? Because none of us walk on water yet, right? And when I say imperfections, I mean humanness. Our sharp edges, our flaws, our missteps, the places where we make errors, where we make mistakes. And I also acknowledge deeply that there are people whose imperfection causes enormous harm generationally, injustice, inequality. We are collectively healing this. But please know that you are perfect in your imperfections, because the pattern of perfection is at the center of your beingness, even when all the other stuff is doing its thing. And we are at free will to decide what we are going to do, to make choices. But that divine pattern of perfection is always at the center of us. Stephanie Lahart wrote, Being uniquely you is the new perfect. Being uniquely you is the new perfect. You, my dear, are the best because you are of God, you are of Spirit, and God and Spirit is of you. So this week, I invite you to notice where the energy of perfection creeps into your life. And then I invite you to color outside those lines. Maybe even take a baby step outside of that line, that zone of comfort. And I also invite you to find your walk-up song and play it. Play it and sing it a lot. Remind yourself as a spiritual tool. We use music as prayer in here. I invite you to use music in your life to uplift you, to remind you of the truth. And lastly, step up to the bat, my friends. Step up to the bat of your life with all of your perfectly perfect imperfections. Oh, how good it is to be here together, doing this work as one human family, yes? Hi, friends. I hope that our message inspired you today. I want to give you an opportunity to pay it forward. We are able to do all that we do here. We're able to get this message to you wherever you are in the world based on contributions. We're a nonprofit. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to do that, to pay it forward. You can click the link in the description box below or go to our website. No amount is too small or too big. We are so grateful. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Know that you are loved. Mwah. Have a good week.